So before starting my presentation, I just want to tell you that we are working in CSSD. So still our country think that CSSD is a cost center rather than a profit center. And somebody told that CSSD is a dumping ground, and whatever we actually use, we actually throw it in the CSSD, they will clean, disinfect and sterilize it. But in reality, it is not like that. Presently, the CSSD, as per the NABH, you have to set up properly, otherwise you do not get any NABH standard or NABH certification. So, what is the aim of CSSD? CSSD stands for Central Sterile Supply Department, where our target is that items should be reached at right time, right place and right condition. Quality of sterilization process depends on many factors. Proper tuning system, proper workflow, proper airflow, proper cleaning and disinfection method, proper use of cleaning and sterilizing agent, proper sorting and distribution system, quality of equipment and manpower, proper sterilization monitoring, routine environmental cleaning, and proper documentation system. So, only cleaning and disinfection, what other department thought that only cleaning and disinfection and sterilization is for the CSSD, it is not. If you give the standard things, if you provide the standard materials, if you provide the good sterilization things, you have to maintain all these things, all these factors. Okay? So now come to the design and infrastructure. The slides which I actually show you, it is actually especially for the Tata Medical Center CSSD, not from the hospital. Whatever I show you, it is specifically for the Tata Medical Center. So you see that the red area, I'll show you. This is the dirty corridor. Through this dirty corridor, the soiled instruments are going to the washing zone. From this washing zone, it goes to there is a washer disinfector, and after completion of the disinfection process, these go to the packaging zone. After packaging zone, if we actually lubricate, dry, and the packaging here, after that it goes to the sterilizer, and when it is sterilized, the materials go to the sterile storage area and holding it for as per the requirement. We are actually issuing the product from the clean corridor. So there is a proper unidirectional workflow we have to maintain. Otherwise, multi-directional workflow, there is a chances of cross-contamination. CSSD flooring. CSSD flooring should be epoxy coated or vinyl flooring, where no cracks and crevices should be there. Joints of the floors and walls should be carved for facilitating the easy cleaning process. Ceiling and wall, the best is the wall should be the tiled and ceiling should be the metal based for facilitate easy cleaning, and it should be good for reduce the contamination. Few hospitals are using the gypsum board in the ceiling which accumulate the fungus. So it is not recommended to use gypsum board in the ceiling. And except the CSSD sterile storage, every wall should be tiled. It is better for easy cleaning purposes. The wall of the sterile door should be antifungal painting. This is the access control area. All the CSSD doors should be access control, which is completely restricted from the outside traffic. And unauthorized entry should be restricted. There is another room in between. It should be there because there is a zoning issue. One is the packaging zone, another one is the sterile zone. When you enter from packaging zone to the sterile zone, there should be an ante room, which is an air holding room where we actually change the shoes, change the and wear the gown, and you have to use the hand soap. Otherwise, you cannot touch the sterile things. The CSSD functional areas, CSSD functional area are mainly four, where the decontamination zone, which I measure the light source, which is 400 lux, and airflow is 744.18 CFM. And air exchange, we are our air exchange rate is 20 cycles per hour. In the preparation zone, light in our area is 525 lux, where the airflow is like that, and the air exchange are all similar in the same zone, in the fourth zone. Lilem packing area, where the light is 500 lux, and the cleaning storage area, where the light is 350 lux. We are actually measuring this every 2 times in a year. The equipment which is actually in our CSSD, because we have 2 CSSD. One is just beside the OT complex, it is in the phase 1 in 2nd floor, and another one is the basement in the phase 2. Basically, the phase 1 CSSD provide the sterile goods to the OT and bone marrow transplant unit area, because it is a cancer specialized hospital. Tata Medical Center is a cancer hospital. It is not a general hospital, so PMTU unit is there for bone marrow transplant patient purposes. And other CSSD is actually providing all the wards area, palliative care area, emergency, like that. So this is our total equipment list, which and the company. So first is from washer disinfector, ultrasonic cleaner, drying cabinet, rotary sealing machine, large steam sterilizer, and some small steam sterilizer, but we do not have any flash sterilizer in our CSSD and also in OT. Ethylene oxide sterilizer, plasma sterilizer, ATP monitoring device, room heater, digital hygrometer, TDS meter, magnifying lamp, weight machine, ETO detector, and light fitted linen packing table. Standard work practice. This is the essential requirement of CSSD, where we require, as per Tata Medical Center CSSD require that water quality is our double arrow, where the TDS level we are actually maintaining 0 to 10 ppm. How I maintain this TDS, I show you later. Water pressure, minimum 4 kg is required. Electricity, continuous and uniform, because in our scenario, every machines except the boiler, our system is under the UPS. So that if there is any chances, any reason the power fault is there, it cannot be totally shut down the machine. Only the heater is off, but heater actually there is a 36 kilowatt heater, so it can hold the heating elements for 1 to 2 minutes, because there is a DG system, so through the generator it will come the light within 2 minutes. So only the console is under the UPS, so that the machine never fail when it is run. Electricity continuous and uniform. Compressed air, it is free from moisture, and the compressed air pressure is 5 to 7 kgs as per the requirement of the equipment manufacturer. Next is the workflow. This is the central sterile supply department. So total workflow is required from receiving to storage and dispatch. It is not like that only the packing and sterilization has done. No, it is not a TSSU or it is not a semi CSSD. It is a complete CSSD where receiving to dispatch is done there in both the CSSD. This is the decontamination area where the equipment, accessories and key function is clearly mentioned. In the decontamination area, we keep the washer disinfector, ultrasonic cleaner, disinfection tank, air and water jet gun, wash basin and computer with barcode scanner. Where the accessories are PPs, washing brushes, wear mesh baskets for keeping the instruments after using in the OT, cleaning and disinfection agent, loading carts and baskets, hazmat cabinet, stainless steel furniture, eye wash station, and the hand wash machine. And the key function is receiving the soil instrument, disassembling and sorting, cleaning, disinfection, and the quality control. So I do not go through the cleaning. I just tell you that 2 types of cleaning method we are actually maintaining. One is manual, another one is mechanical. In the mechanical cleaning, there is 2 things. One is the ultrasonic cleaner, another one is the washer disinfector. So proper cleaning, what Sat told in the last presentation, that proper cleaning can reduce 90% of the bioburden on an object, and ideal disinfection and sterilization process cannot be successful without proper cleaning. This is our actually the cleaning agent which I use in our hospital, which is Neolisher. It is a German-based product, Neolisher, and the Gigasept. It is for high-level disinfectant. It is a peracetic acid-based, and you see the contact time and the dosage. It is clearly mentioned, and everything I actually affix on the wall so that the newcomers and anybody, if there is any queries, so you can actually see this, and there is no problem at all. This is the cleaning process and water and air jet gun. Cleaning process is very much required for cleaning the surfaces like crevices, like joints, like that. And few brushes are actually used for the luminal purposes, because most of maximum number of the instruments in the ETO and plasma are luminal. So in that case, such kind of luminal process is actually required. And this is the water jet gun, and this is the air jet gun for cleaning the hollow devices, because hollow devices cleaning is much more challenging than the solid instruments. This is the cleaning parameters. Sarah has already told that there are 4 things. Time, TACT, that means tact, time, action, concentration, and temperature. These are the cleaning parameters, and these are the washer disinfector which we actually use in the both the CSSD. We have total 4 number of washer disinfector we are actually using there. This is the ultrasonic cleaner. This is a big ultrasonic cleaner in phase 1 for robotic purposes, and another small one is there in the phase 2 for small instrument purposes. So due to robotic purposes, this robotic arm it is long, so that is why we are using such big type of washer disinfector. And we are using the mechanical testing for ultrasonic cleaner, which is a vibration test, because ultrasonic cleaner, the basic thing is of the ultrasonic cleaner is the vibration. Good vibration means good cleaning. So here, this is the mechanical testing. We are actually using that to see how much vibration, the red, yellow, and green. If it is totally green, that means the full vibration is done there. And this is a foil test. We do not actually practicing this because it is a very dirty test, but sometimes we are actually practicing because of audit purposes, because auditors sometimes ask that except this, what you have documented, because you cannot document this, it is visually checking, but this can be documented. But it is a very dirty things, because when you start this, everywhere the foils are stuck here and there. So very little bit we are actually do this. So in that case, the maximum load should be 3 kg, lukewarm water is required, time required 10 minutes, it is automatically selected, and detergent is neutral or slightly alkaline. Gas bubbles, it is there because there is a transducer, so many transducer inside this. So through this transducer, it actually vibrate, and quality monitoring is done by the sonic meter, chemical indicator, and foil test. Disinfection. So this can be done by 2 methods. One is the actually chemical method, another one is the thermal method. Chemical method, you know all that, Gigasept, orthoparallelite, Sidex, like that. And thermal disinfection is only done by this machine. So this machine is called a washer disinfector, where first primary cleaning has been done, after that the disinfection process has been done.
कॉल करके मुझे उनको फोन देना है, बात कर लेंगे। ऑक्यूमेशन लगा ऑक्यूमेशन हमारा इंस्टॉल ही नहीं हुआ, हमारा इंटरेस्ट को इंस्टॉल ही नहीं हुआ। So
now come to again the washer disinfector, where previous in intermediate rinse and final rinse should be there. Pre-rinse, a good water pressure is required for cleaning purposes because Sir has already told that few countries except the French, Africa, this I don't know like that. But our motto is first cleaning, disinfection and sterilization. Before cleaning, we cannot disinfect because most of the disinfectant has a protein fixing agent. So primary thing is that wear the PP, the cap, mask, gloves, apron, whatever, and then start the cleaning. If there is any spillage comes out, it can be protected by the PPEs. So this is the cleaning. After that intermediate rinse where the solution is actually engaged when we are actually using the enzymatic based solution. Previously we used the acidic and alkaline, now we have changed to the enzymatic solution. And final rinse, where the final rinse there is a water temperature rise up to 90 degrees centigrade, which is called the A value, where the temperature hold 90 degrees centigrade 2 to 3 minutes. And cleaning indicator is used in every cycle for monitoring the cleaning processes. This is our documentation system. The problem is that in the washer disinfector, there is no printout system. We have no printout in our any document, but we can collect the data from the USB and take it and load it in the computer system. But direct printout system, thermal printing system, not inside. Okay. This is the hand wash machine and hand and eye wash and the soil zone. This is a packing zone where the equipments are this one, the drying cabinet, rotary sealer, magnifying lamp, steam sterilizer, gas sterilizer, plasma sterilizer, computer barcode system and digital weight machine. Where accessories is that like this. The packaging materials, quality monitoring indicators, instrument lubricants, stainless steel furniture, stainless steel loading trolleys, loading basket and instrument basket. And the key function is drying, assembling and lubricating, checking, packing, loading, sterilization and quality monitoring. The thermal drying cabinet is required for the surgical instrument drying purposes because wet instruments cannot use sterilize, cannot use pack. You have to first, after completion of the washer disinfector, the all instruments are wet. You have to dry it completely and then you have to pack, lubricate and pack. So can be used for the both heat sensitive because in our scenario, in our hospital, in one drying cabinet we have two consoles. It is from Sterilium from Australia that they can give both in one machine so that we can use the heat sensible item and heat resistant item both inside. And based on the it is based on the heater, blower and the door gasket is there for holding the temperature. And temperature you can rise up to 90 degrees centigrade. ATP monitoring. We are doing the ATP monitoring in dry method. There are two types of method. One is the dry method, another one is the wet method. So we are actually practicing the dry method where after completion of the drying complete, we take the swab and put it inside the here. In the swab stick, there is a enzyme, luciferase enzyme, and this enzyme actually react with the swab. So, because when we take the swab, there is something on the swab. So this is actually this chemically reacted, and if the result of the luminometer is 150 RLU, relative light unit, is it higher than that, it is fail, and lower than 150, it is pass. Because there is no actually cleaning science, because somebody told that 100, somebody told that 150, so as per 3M guideline, they told that 150, so we are maintaining this 150. And use dedicated software to preserve the data, and area surgical instruments and utensils. We are practicing this. Instrument sorting and inspection. After thermal drying, instruments should be cooled down. Hot items cannot be packed and hot items cannot be lubricated because this lubricant is very cold. And inspect the instrument sharpness, cracks, stains and breakage. Open the instrument at 90 degree for lubrication purpose and surgical instrumentation done as per computerized checklist. This is our computerized checklist with barcoding system. So everything is mentioned, that serial number, category number of the instruments, description of the item, and the quantity and the total quantity, it is mentioned here. So that when we pack it, we actually signature it. When the sister open it, they check all these things first and then start the surgery. After finishing that, they actually, sometimes they check all these things, otherwise they check the total number of the instrument. So that there is no mismatch, no danger, nothing is there when it comes back to CSST. This is the rotary sealer machine. We have two machines because there are two types of things, two types of packaging materials we are actually using. For steam and ETO, we are using the polypropylene paper, where is a plasma hydrogen peroxide sterilizer. We use the polyethylene fiber, where the temperature has some difference, so we cannot change it every time. So we have 2 to 3 actually sealer machine, so that we can maintain that 180 degree and 130 degree for both the sterilizer. And all instruments should be locked, all instrument lock should be open, cannot be locked completely. If you lock it completely, the sterilization agent cannot be penetrated. Seal thickness should be 10 mm minimum, because it holds the sealing. Otherwise, there is a problem that if you hanging this item, it can be dropped. Labeling should be on the plastic side, and seal check indicator is used for checking effectiveness of the sealer. This is the digital weight machine. Surgical instrument weight as per AMI guideline, it is 12.5 kg, and bracing set 3 kg, and linen pad is 5.5 kg. If it is more than that, there is a chances of not proper sterilization. So you have to check that before putting it in the sterilizer. You should take the weight of the instrument, basin, and the linen bag, because we are still using the reusable linen for the infected case. The infected case means non-infected case like HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, like that. We are using the disposable one. This is the ready fact for sterilization. We have a barcoding system, and all this data has been preserved here up to 2000 cycles. So if there is any mishap, any legal issue, we can clearly show that our process is completely sterilized, our instruments sets are completely sterile, there is no chances of any mishap. This is the reusable linen packing. So inspect the holes, tears and stains. Linen should be laundered, crisscross pack should be there, weight should be 5.5 kg, I have already told. Composition of the linen should be 70% and 30% ratio, 70% cotton and 30% polyester, and daily documentation should be required. Loading. You see that this is loading and this is unloading. This is our sterile zone, this is our packaging zone. And see that there is a gap, 2 mm gap between every box, so that penetration, drying, everything should be happen properly. And in case of mixed load, it is linen on top and the instrument should be at bottom, because there is a chances of wicking or condensation. Sterilization. In microbiology, sterilization is the process of completely eliminating or destroying the vegetative and pathogenic microorganisms, including bacteria, viruses, fungi, spores, from surface, object or medium using physical or chemical method. What is a sterilizer? Sterilizer is a machine, often called autoclave. It's a device that uses high pressure steam to kill bacteria, viruses and spores, ensuring objects or environments are free or from lives. Now, the healthcare sterilization system. There are basically two types of system. One is thermal, another one is gas. Thermal moist sterilizer, it is used in the CSSD. Dry heat is basically used in the laboratory, where the gas sterilization, both are used in CSSD, ethylene oxide and hydrogen peroxide gas plasma. In the steam sterilizer, we are maintaining two types of temperature, 121, 134, where the pressure of the 121 is 1.1 bar, it is 2.2 bar, time is 16 to 20 minutes, where it is 4 minutes, and it is saturated steam, where 97 and 3 is the best steam quality. If it is increased the dry steam, it is 98, it is okay, but below 90, there is a actually the wet steam. This is very dangerous for sterilization. And the phase is that the pre-vacuum, sterilization, and the post-vacuum. In the steam sterilizer, the microorganism has been killed by the coagulation and denaturation of protein. Ethylene oxide sterilizer, it is 1 to 3 hours for the sterilization. Why 1 to 3 hours? 37 minutes is required for 3 hours and 55 minutes is required for 1 hour. Where relative humidity should be for 60%, gas concentration is 100%, aeration at least 10 hours we are actually maintaining here, and total cycle time is 12 to 14 hours, and detector is used for any gas leakage. Destroy microorganism by, in this method, by alkylation. So, in hydrogen peroxide glass plasma, exposure time is 8 to 10 minutes, where sterilization temperature is 50 minutes, gas concentration is 58%, and total cycle time is 1 hour. The process by killing the microorganism is called oxidation in this method. We are also maintaining the surgical set tracking system. There is a set master. We are actually keeping all the sets here. After that, set sterilization, then set issue, and then set receipt. So, set master, CSSD, and OT has prepared. Set sterilization done by the CSSD. Set issue done by the CSSD. Set receipt. After completion of the surgery, it is sent by the OT and received by the CSSD. It is only using for in the OT-CSSD complex, not in the WAT complex. Sterile store should be used proper attire. I have already told when I told about the anteroom. You maintain the FIFO method, first in first out method. Check packaging integrity when loading issue, when unloading an issue, and keep sterile storage, dust and moisture. And sterile shape should be, it is as per the guideline. 8 inch from the floor, this one, 18 inch from the ceiling, that's one, and the 2 inch from the wall. It should be required. But the equipment inside the sterile storage is hygrometer, computer with barcode and room meter. Accessories is unloading trolley, heat resistance gloves, wire baskets, and the storage racks. Key function, unloading, storage, and dispatch. Transportation. Before transportation, sterile should be cool and dry. Check levels and indicator before issue. Trolley should be clean and dry. Mishandling should be avoided. Transport sterile items in a closed and dedicated trolley. Frequent swab culture tests from transport trolleys are very much required. Now come to the sterilization monitoring. Sterilization process validation. Ensure a sterilization method consistently achieve sterility, meeting the predetermined standards, and involves rigorous testing and documentation to ensure effectiveness and the reliability. There are 3 types of monitoring system. One is physical, another one is chemical, and last one is biological. In the physical monitoring, in our autoclave, there is everything are there, printout system, inbuilt phase class, program link control, and software. Leak test. Leak test should be performed. As per CTC, they told that in a month you have to do it once, but we are doing it in fortnight. A leak test for sterilizer verifies the airtight integrity of the sterilizer chamber and the plumbing system, ensuring effective sterilization by preventing air leaks and could compromise the sterilization process. So, the leak test of the autoclave should not be above 1.3 kPa. In case of ETO, 8 mbar, and for plasma, it is not more than 25 mdor. If it is beyond that, there is some leakage in the sterilizer. Chemical monitoring, there is class 1 to class 6 indicator, where class 1 is expose control tape, class 2 is the Boedic test pack. I will show you in the next slide. Single parameter indicator in class 3, multi-parameter indicator is the class 4, integrating indicator is class 5, and class 6 is the emulating indicator. So what is expose control tape? Expose control tape is actually outside the surgical set, so that users can understand that it cannot deliver the message that it is complete, the instruments are completely sterilized. But it can understand the user that means the instruments are go through the sterilization. Boedic test pack, I will told you that single parameter indicator, because as per the autoclave, common thing, the autoclave, there are three types of things, basic things. One is the time, steam, temperature. If any parameter is passed in class 3, that means the class 3 should be passed and you can issue this. But if you go to the class 4, at least 2 parameters should be passed. It may be time, it may be steam, or it may be temperature. Any 2 of these pass, then class 4 is passed. So you can issue this. And class 5 and class 6, you have to require 3 parameters, where TST is completely required, where class 5 had 3 stated value and class 6 has 1 stated value. In the class 5 stated value, 1 point, the biological indicator has been made. So class 5 is much more fruitful than class 6. Class 6 is actually used for indicate the only sterilization principle, only the 134 degree for 5 minutes, 4 minutes. But class 5 denotes from the heating to exhaust phase. Poetic test bag. It is a type 2, what I told that I will show you. It is a vacuum assist steam sterilizer, not for the gravity steam sterilizer. Ensure because the proper air removal process, can detect non-condensable gases, guarantee for making saturated steam, and use daily in fast cycle in empty load and for monitoring the optimum air removal process. Now come to the biological indicator. In our hospital, we do not use any rapid, super rapid, tetra rapid, not like that. We are using the conventional biological indicator, what's that told, which is non-pathogenic, most resistant in specific sterilization process like steam, ETO and plasma, and higher T value means higher resistance. We are also using the hollow process channels device from GKE, and these are the things we are actually using in the ETO machine, and these are for the steam machine. There is some poetic VDS test, poetic simulation test, some BMS test, and this is also for BMS test for the ethylene oxide purposes. No plasma, we are actually using such kind of devices because plasma concentration level is very low, so I think it cannot be passed. Hollow process challenge device requirement. The requirement is like that. The sterilization is easy for on surface instruments, but not for the hollow instruments where air can trap easily and very tough to remove without good vacuum. If there is no good vacuum, no penetration, nothing can be sterilized properly. Because surface sterilization, you can see everything, but hollow penetration, if it is long channel, long lumen, you cannot understand that it is properly sterilized or not, properly cleaned or not, properly sterilized or not. And this is actually to monitor good vacuum and sterilization and penetration. Simulation test is required for successful sterilization purposes and can detect MCG for 0.3 ml as guaranteed by the manufacturer. Examples essential for long catheters, suction tubes, guide wires, nails like this, corrugated tube like that. We are using such kind of things for external calibration purposes. It is sometimes required for NMEA, JCI, green OT audit. It is required. So we sometimes doing this. It is a very good thing for external calibration purposes. So required for the external audit should be done at least in a year. Temperature, pressure and humidity monitoring can be done and it gives the real-time monitoring. So it is called the data logger, which is very useful for calibration purposes because you cannot understand that whatever your machine has shown, it is properly or not. Who actually calibrates the machine? Because machine cannot calibrate itself. So in that case, external things is required. If it is very closer to your printout, very closer to your monitor gauge glasses, you can understand that your machine is properly functional. But if there is a deviation, then you have to you actually send the machine for the biomedical department for further calibration and repairing purposes. Device that needs external calibration, this is actually I have include this meter. It is a TDS meter. We are actually sending to every year to the for the calibration purposes because it is required for the audit. The things that I have told already, the ATP monitoring devices and the humidity monitoring, the hygrometer. Because wherever the temperature is related, you have to calibrate it at least in a once. Otherwise, the auditor can catch you and ask you there is a NC. This is our daily monitoring system. It is at a glance that ultrasonic cleaner, physical monitoring, chemical monitoring, biological monitoring actually not applicable, and the aluminum foil testing we are not actually practicing daily. Washer disinfectant manual system, there is no physical printout. Chemical indicator, we are actually using no biological indicator. Steam sterilizer, automatic printout, leak test every fortnight. These kind of indicators we are actually using, and the geobacillus studio thermometers, biological score we are using for the biological monitoring purposes. Ethylene oxide, these are the automatic printout, chemical indicator, and the bacillus atrophasus. Plasma, these things we are actually using. In that, you see the frequency, every day we are actually monitoring this. But our biological monitoring is conventional, not rapid. Sealing, we are done actually the seal check, not methylene blue test because it is a very dirty test. Seal check we are actually practicing time to time. This is the batch level monitoring. It provides the sterilizer information in brief. It has a unique color changing indicator. It helps to understand the shelf life of a product very easily. Dual adhesive system enhance the label to affix on patient file easily, and label should be affixed on patient file for legal and future requirement. This is the thing, the CSSD register, and this is the patient file, where the barcode and the indicator has been affixed with the chemical indicator. We are also practicing the single-use device. We have a policy, and this is the total. A few of the OT items we are practicing like this. How many times we are actually, what is the frequency and what is the item. So we are actually practicing this in our department by marking system. Recall, basically recall of three types, expiry, label missing, the tearing of the packaging materials. It is not a proper recall. The proper recall is that the failure of biological indicator, failure of chemical indicator, and wet pack occurrences. And we are actually maintaining the file for recall. Environmental monitoring and quality control. We practice water quality monitoring, air quality monitoring, daily equipment monitoring, and the sterility testing. This is the report, one report of the quality monitoring of water. See the chlorine test, TDS test, and aerobic colony, pseudomonas coliform is all things are at a glance. We are testing it. Microbiological testing we are actually practice every month, and TDS monitoring we practice in daily. This is the temperature and humidity monitoring where our hygrometer shows. This is the report. This is the actual standard of international standard. Relative humidity. If there is any humid condition or monsoon based, we are actually such kind of room heater or dehumidifier, and the maintaining the airflow. I have already told you. This is the air particle count. We are also testing, but unfortunately, our CSSD, the sterile store, is not a HEPA system. It is a clean and pre-filter where the microns are 5 microns and 10 microns. But our report without HEPA is very good. It is nearly ISO 6 standard. You see the ISO 5 micron, and you see this is the ISO. So this is 293. It is very close to 293, which is ISO 6 standard. Air quality monitoring, we do air quality monitoring for water leakage. This is the report, and we are actually using the nutrient agar and the SD agar. Sterility testing, we send 3 to 4 times per year, 5 to 6 times per year for sterility testing. Actually, we are doing not a swab culturing test. We actually simulate one product with blood, a body fluid like that, and same thing we are doing what we do for a surgical set, so surgical instruments. With same thing for cleaning, disinfection and sterilization. After that, keep it for 3 months and send it to the microbiology for the sterility testing purpose. Now the documentation system. We are actually maintaining so many documents in hard copy and soft copy. So I do not write it here. I just write it only these which we send to the MRT for 3 years retention as per our retention policy. So these are the things: periodic test file, biological indicator file, sterilizer cycle printout, washer disinfection cycle, sterilization register, sterile product dispatch register, equipment preventive maintenance and calibration, single-use device register, CSSD manual, and material safety data sheet. So this is the 3 years retention period. The achievements of TMC CSSD is one of the best CSSD in India as per the Government of India CSSD Advisory Committee in 2012. Performed many workshops in last 14 years, successfully completed C3 audit, NABH CFI, NABH Nursing Excellence, and NABH Hospital. TMC CSSD has already published 20 national and international publications, and it is also a CAHO certificate. What I told you previous, that why our water quality is good, because we have a separate RO plant, deionized plant for CSSD only. Only for CSSD, not for other departments. That is why our water quality is so good, because we are actually, our area is a salt lake area where the TDS level of the water is very high. So first we actually using the softener, after that iron remover, then first RO and second RO. This second RO plant is only for the CSSD purposes, so that our water quality is always below 10 ppm. And this is a AHU unit which we actually it is our actually on the rooftop at the terrace. It is only for the CSSD purposes, so that it cannot mix with the OT. So it is a 17-ton AC. It is for CSSD, only for CSSD. This is the achievement of us. The second phase. This is the second phase where there is a dirty corridor and clean corridor, so there is no chances of any cross contamination. This is the trolley holding area, disinfection area, office, packing zone, everything is there. But the total area is 1800 square feet, where the main building phase 1 area is 3000 square feet. Our registered vendor is there. The dressing materials, the cosmetic product and peer surgical, packaging materials provided by Oro, ASP, Steripro and AK products, cleaning agents provided by the Neodisha, 3M and Carl's Church, monitoring indicators, GKE and 3M, detector by Medovation products, and instrument box. There is a number of instrument boxes list. Any doubt, you can ask me that if I am doing anything wrong.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. I now request Dr. Ashok Kumar Jina to felicitate Mr. Devabrata Basu. I now invite Mr. Sebastian Metzing to continue his lecture.
Welcome back. Thank you for this presentation and for this insight in real life of hospital CSSD. And I'm very thankful to have this link between reality and theory. I want to go back. It's not theory, it's about research that we have. I want to go back a little bit to the results that we obtain in our work. You have seen a little bit on the slides the application of monitoring systems, and now I want to show you a little bit about these systems and the background and what we did when we measured them. We want to talk about the monitoring of cleaning processes now. In the first part we had talked about the components of a cleaning process. We have talked about the impact of the medical devices, of the contaminations, and we have seen that the combination of water quality, of temperature, of detergent, all this has to match in order to get a decent process. Now we want to see how we can monitor this process. And here you see a very simple description what has to be monitored, because this Zinner circle, this circle with the 4 elements, will tell us when we have a process deviation. So if anything goes wrong with your process, it can only be 1 out of 4 reasons. When something is wrong with your cleaning, also even with your manual cleaning, it's the mechanical force, or it's the time, or it's the chemicals, or it's the temperature. There is no other reason. This is the complete cleaning. And this is something which is really great, because this allows us, whenever there are problems, to find out what is it, where to find the solution, or where to find the problem, and then to figure out the solution. Okay, when we see that time, mechanical force, chemistry, or temperature are responsible for any process deviation, well, let's monitor them. We have carried out testing in our laboratory about cleaning processes, because we have found out that testing in a real washer disinfector makes no sense. It makes no sense because a real washer disinfector does not only wash, but it also will dry, it also will disinfect, and it does not have homogeneous conditions. I tell you just one thing: when you think you want to carry out tests in your real life everyday washer disinfector, you do have a spraying arm which is doing a rotation, and you have a chamber which is rectangular. How do you want to have a homogeneous process in that? And when we do laboratory testing, we need something which is really homogeneous. This is why you can see here on the screen our laboratory test device that we have constructed ourselves in order to get reproducible test conditions. We have a machine which has 3 different containers. We can put any liquid in it that we want, so we can put in it different water qualities, different detergents, and whatever we want, different dosages. And when we have these 3 different liquids, we can put them together, we make a mixture, and we control it with this control unit. And this mixed liquid that we produce will then be controlled or will be processed with this part, which you can see in bigger picture here. Here we do have a thermometer, a flow meter, a conductivity measurement system, a manometer, and every kind of sensorics that we need. And the resulting liquid will then be sprayed in this cylinder, and here you see the same thing in big, through a nozzle on a test soil. And now you see what makes this machine unique. In your machine you have also nozzles, and you spray on contamination, but it only sprays when the spray arm is passing by. So it sprays, it stops, it sprays, it stops. And it will be maybe even reflected by other objects. It is not hit directly. And here we can provide a spray situation which is completely controlled. So we know very well what we will spray from here on this test soil. When we switch on the machine and it works for a while, we will get a situation which can never be obtained in a real machine. We will have a temperature which after some time will remain completely stable. We'll have a completely constant flow, and of course the quality of the liquid, its conductivity, everything is stable. This is never to be obtained in a real cycle environment. Here you see the intervals that we can control. So our time control, we can go from 0, of course, up to 9 hours. We have carried out spray testing, that means cleaning testing of spraying of many hours in a row, just to see what happens when you spray for hours and hours and hours. Maybe, for example, if you want to avoid chemicals, then let's see what happens if we simply go on spraying. This is just perfect what we can find out with that. Our temperature range goes from 0 to 90 degrees centigrade. With our cleaning agents, our detergents that we use, I can tell you a story. We became mad about the result in the first setting when we started this work, until we learned that the detergents that we buy do not have stable quality. This was a catastrophe. So we obtained different results depending on which batch of detergent we had connected. The difference was not critical for everyday use. So if any hospital would have bought these products, no problem with that. But in this machine, testing is so precisely that we saw big differences whenever we bought a new container of detergent. And our consequence is that today our test detergents, we make them on our own. We have in our laboratory a kind of kitchen, and there we mix together our test detergents so we know what's inside. And we do not depend on what we buy. Regarding the mechanical force, we have different impact on the mechanical force. Of course, the flow rate, the higher the flow rate, the stronger the mechanical force will be when the water hits on the surface. Then we can use different spray nozzles. You can have a spray nozzle which is emitting a very sharp and focused spray, or you can something which is really more than like a sprinkler system. All of that is available. And of course we can change the distance between the nozzle and the test soil, so we can decide how far away the nozzle will be. We carry out tests with different test soils, and among the test soils that we use, of course, we use our own test devices that we produce on our own. We have these colored test soils. These are artificial test soils, and these different colors can be washed away. And you see, when you have here a color and you wash it over time, that this is the final result. All the color will be gone and only the frame will remain on the surface. So this is a fresh indicator, this is a completely washed off indicator, and these are all the stages that the wash process goes through. All these colors have different wash off properties. And we have these different colors available in order to be able to adapt the testing, the monitoring of the cleaning process individually adapted to your needs. What does that mean? Well, in basic, it's very simple to understand. Your job is to clean your instruments. This is what you have to do. No doubt about that. But the way how you do it is your own decision. And therefore, every hospital and every doctor's office, everybody who cleans medical devices can do it in a way that he thinks it would be best. And this is okay. If it is working, everybody will find with that. And by the way, the evaluation, if it's working, this is called process validation. But since everybody can apply a process in a way that he thinks would be best, it can be that you will go for a process with alkaline cleaner, you will go for a process with neutral enzymatic cleaner. Up there, you will go probably with a short program with very strong spray. You probably will have a program which is very long and which is very soft to the surfaces of the instruments, and then you compensate with a very long time. Maybe you will have a combination product which has mild alkaline and enzymes in one setting. So we have so many different processes here in the room represented by you, because you are doing cleaning, and nobody can say I clean completely identical like the other hospital. Every process is different. And now, please put yourself in our position. We are in front of you, and we have in front of us 10 or 12 or 15 different procedures. All of these methods lead to clean instruments. This is okay. But the way to go there is completely different. And because of these different ways, we need different indicators. To find one which provides monitoring information for you, and not some abstract one which is only providing information, well, that you can show, look, I use an indicator. No, the indicator is made to give you an additional value, and therefore we have to have one which is very good to be used for your purpose. So it's not the decision to take the one which you like most because it's such a beautiful color, but we would use them in a way that we test the indicators in your very cycle, and then we will decide which color would be the good one. You remember maybe the slides in the presentation before? You saw the yellow indicators being used in the hospital where we just saw information about the CSSD. Well, in this case, the yellow indicator did a good job. Okay, now let's have a look on the different deviations that we can have in our cleaning process. And as I said before, whenever you have a problem in a cleaning process, it will be affecting one part of the Zinner circle. So it can only be one of these four: time, mechanical force, chemicals, and temperature. Now let's have a look on that. Let's have a look on time. What can be the problem with time? I think you all agree the risk would be that the time is not long enough. You have a process and you have decided that it needs to be 10 minutes, and one day it's only, well, let's say only 7 minutes. And you want to have an information if this would happen. Now, first of all, let's see how a test soil reacts in this instance. Here you see results from our spray rig, this test machine that I just showed you. And here you say that we have sprayed with 0.5 liters per minute on this red indicator, and we used a detergent that can clean the red indicator. So we added a chemical product, and we see that we need much more than 5 minutes before it becomes clean. And you see that this indicator is not washed off after 3 seconds, but it takes a long time. This is in this spraying cylinder that I just showed you. Now, what would be the risk in everyday life? The risk would be that your process is too short, and then your indicator could tell. Do we need an indicator? Maybe. Here you see an example in the first line. If there is a problem with time. If there is a problem with time, it might be provoked by a power breakdown. That means suddenly the electricity is switched off and your machine will stop. Then your program is too short. I agree. Do I need an indicator for that? No, the machine stops. But what happens if this is the case? You have somebody who's on vacation and somebody else who substitutes this person is not correctly educated and has started the wrong program, the program which is too short. Will the machine tell you? No. In this case, when somebody accidentally starts the wrong program, and I can tell you it happens several times per week, I get all these things on my table. In this case, the machine will not tell anything. And I get a telephone call or an email, your indicator is not washed off anymore and the machine is in perfect state. I even called the technician, and in the end we found out, well, somebody who did a job replacing somebody on vacation started the short program. And in this case, the indicator will tell you. So you have a deviation that would have passed unnoticed, and the indicator has said something is wrong. And together we found out, well, it was the short program. So it's nothing broken, it's no catastrophe, but we have to make sure that these products are not released. And this is what the indicator is good for concerning time. So this is the timeline from left to right. Next step, let's go for mechanical force. We will take the same data like before, but now we add 2 more lines. The first line you're already familiar with. We saw this example where it takes 10 minutes before it's clean. And now look at that. When we increase the flow rate to 1.5 minutes or to 2.5 liters, then the spray force is stronger. And you see, when I increase it to this value, I only need 5 minutes to clean it instead of 10. And if I have this value, it's already clean after 3 minutes. This is inner circle. Put one thing away and replace it by somebody else. So here you see, the spray force is low, you can compensate by doing it longer. Or here you see the time is small, is short, you can compensate by spraying stronger. Here you see the wonderful example of Zinner circle. So the first thing was that we discussed about a problem with this left to right timeline. Now let's talk about this vertical line from top to down, which is the mechanical force. Why would it be that mechanical force is too small? Well, if the machine is broken and the pump is not providing enough pressure, I don't need an indicator because the machine will tell. But what about a spray shadow? If you have a position in your load where you want the spray to hit upon and you put something over it and you mask the spray and the contaminated spot is not hit, the machine will not tell. How can the machine know that you made a mistake when you created the load? The indicator can tell. The indicator will tell you, normally I'm clean after 3 minutes, now I'm not clean, so at the position where I have been, there was less flow rate. And this happens also quite often. Maybe I can show you a real example afterwards. Now we have talked about time and mechanical force. Next point would be chemicals. And when we talk about chemicals, we have two aspects, the detergents and the water quality. Now the first is the detergent. Well, this is easy. This is one detergent and you see how long it takes to clean off the different colors. And this is another detergent and we have another timeline. So take another product and you have other wash-off properties. I think this is normal. Everybody understands that. How can it happen in real life? Well, so many reasons. The first thing is that your machine does not do a dosage which is correct. Very modern machines can monitor that. They will say, dosage was incorrect, I did not put enough milliliters in your cycle. Okay. But what about the enzymes in your detergent? You remember what I told you? You can destroy the enzymes easily when you store the detergent at too warm a temperature. And then no machine in the world can decide if the enzymes are still good or not. And this will be given, this information will be given by the indicator, because it will not be washed off anymore if the enzymes are broken. This is a typical thing where the machine cannot give you any information. We have this experience in Germany, especially in the summertime, and especially with dental offices. They buy detergents in rather small containers of 5 liters or 10 liters. And these containers are shipped via UPS or FedEx. And this UPS driver does not care about cooling. And if in the summertime this brown UPS vehicle is parked in the sun, and at 6 p.m. at last this container is shipped or is delivered to the dentist, then the enzymes are broken. Forget it. And then we get a telephone call and we say your indicators are not clean anymore and has just connected a new container of detergent. What kind of indicators are these? And we say, oh, we already have the reason. You have received a container with detergent which is not okay anymore. The machine cannot tell. Another thing which is especially in dental offices quite common, somebody has ordered a new container of detergent and he accidentally ordered the wrong product. This is also something which suddenly leads to different indicator results, and nobody would have noticed that without the test. So you see, the right column is the reason why we do this effort with the monitoring, because there are so many deviations which would remain invisible without testing. Now let's have a look on the water. You remember that I told you that we want to have soft water for cleaning, because with calcium and magnesium your detergent doesn't work correctly. And, well, I switch back to the indicators. You see here we have a version which combines the colors green, blue and red, which are the same colors like here, but being put on one indicator strip. So we have 3 colors combined on one indicator strip. And here we have a result with a 3-color indicator. Here we are, and you see we can clean it after 5 minutes. We have a nice detergent which can clean all 3 colors. After 3 minutes it's clean if the water is soft. And this happens when the water is hard. Everything is identical. Same time, same dosage, same spray force, everything identical. Only the water hardness is different. And the indicator will tell. This is very common in machines where you have to refill the salt to refresh the softening unit. This is the same technology like in a very trivial dishwasher where you have refill salt. If this is not done regularly, the water will be hard and the cleaning effect will be poor. And this can be made visible with that. So, when we have problems with water, we will get information from the machine. If the conductivity is too high, conductivity is measured by the machine itself. But we will not get information when the water is too hard. This is given by the indicator. Now the last thing, and this is probably the most interesting one, the temperature. And I think this affects you directly. So, look at these two. I'm going to show you the remarkable things here. Here we have results with an alkaline cleaner without enzymes. So this is a cleaner which only relies on high pH value. And high pH value works the better when it's warmer. And you see, when we apply it with 40 degrees centigrade after 300 seconds, it's still a little bit of residue. And with 70 degrees centigrade, it's clean after 300 seconds. We see very nicely that the cleaning detergent works more performant when we apply a higher temperature. And now we have an alkaline cleaner which has enzymes. Do you remember these combination products which have mildly alkaline and enzymes in one product? Look at that. When we have 40 degrees centigrade after 300 seconds, it's clean. Here it isn't, when you compare these two. And why is it clean and here is it not clean? Because here the enzymes have additionally worked on the soil. They have helped to eat it away. And now we apply the 70 degrees and we see here the result is worse than that. Why? Because the 70 degrees centigrade has destroyed the enzymes and the enzymes could not work because they were broken. This is such an interesting result, which shows that one product works better with higher temperature, one product works better with lower temperature, and you can make it visible with this technology. The machine doesn't care. The machine simply says, you want me to work with 50 degrees, so I do it. I have no idea if it fits to the detergent. And here we have a nice method to do it. So this is the temperature. Why can it happen? Well, it might be that the temperature control is broken, then the machine needs to be fixed, and then, well, this would be probably detected without indicator. But if you have the wrong temperature for the wrong detergent, the indicator's brilliant. It would turn. So the right column, and these are only examples, we have so many things. The right column is the reason why we did this effort to establish a monitoring of the process. And this does not refer to the result, the clean instruments. This is ensured by you and your validation procedure. No, it's to the process. We want to see if you are on a good track when you are on your way to obtain clean instruments. And this is a splendid way to do that. Okay, this is monitoring for cleaning, and this leaves 45 minutes left on the timetable, so we have plenty of time to go in another topic. I would like to introduce you a little bit in some special things about steam sterilization. But before we do so, let me ask you if you have any questions to this method of monitoring. Is there anybody who likes to contribute or to ask? Okay, I just learned we don't have time until 4:30. I'm sorry, we have to finish at 4. Actually, I don't know why. Chris, what's the reason? Okay, yes, we have another obligation. I'm sorry for that. Okay, this leaves another, 15 minutes. Then let me make you familiar with one last thing, and let's turn shortly to sterilization. So you remember in the presentations that we had already that steam sterilization requires something, and this was being mentioned many times, for example in the presentation video in the beginning when we all arrived, and here was a very nice presentation about this hospital, that steam penetration is crucial when it comes to steam sterilization. The steam has to go everywhere in order to ensure that sterilization is successful. And I want to show you in a few slides why this is the case. Let's have a look on a cycle. This is a cycle. Oh, this is not. Okay, you see a little bit the colors. The colors are not very clear on the screen, but still. Let's turn to steam sterilization, and here you have a typical program. And this program has different parts. The first part you see where this curve goes down 3 times is the fractionated vacuum, and this is made for air removal. Then the curve goes up, and this is the heating. And then we have the sterilization time, the horizontal line on top. And this is the line where we want the germs to be killed. And in the end we have cooling and drying. So, what do we need steam penetration for? This is what I want to make you familiar with. So, let's have a look on that. So, sorry, this is the wrong. We will start here. Let's start with the Let's start with the heating. Now we have put out the air here, and now we inject the steam. This is the same in every sterilizer because it needs to go up here to 3 bars in order to obtain the 134 degrees centigrade. Now, we go up in the curve, so the steam is injected, and the steam will hit the surface of the instruments. What happens when the steam hits the surface of the instruments? Let's have a look on that. Here's the instrument, and here's the steam. This is gas. Steam is gas. Now it will touch the surface of the instrument, and it will create 1 drop of condensate, and the very process of condensation will transfer 1 specific amount of temperature energy or heat energy into the instrument. And this happens several times until the instrument is heated up. So in the end we have humidity. These drops of condensate will form a film of liquid water, and the instruments are heated up to the temperature of your steam, in this example 134 degrees centigrade. Okay, very nice. Now, after having done this heating up, we are here at this position. I try to hit it and not to move too much. Here it might be that 1 germ is still alive. And here in the end we hope that all germs are dead. And this brings us to the question, why do they die? What kills the organisms in steam sterilization? This group is too big to do a discussion about it or a game about it, but I pretend that many of you would say, well, it's quite hot, huh? 134 degrees centigrade seems to be hot enough to kill the germs, right? The answer is no. 134 degrees centigrade, believe it or not, for sterilization purposes, is much too cold. You cannot sterilize with 134 degrees centigrade. It's too cold. Your sterilizer is too cold. Sorry. You can easily try this at home. Please buy biological indicators at Csst. Place 1 indicator strip in your kitchen, in your oven, and switch it on to 140 degrees centigrade, even hotter than your steam sterilizer, 140 degrees. These guys, these spores, will all stay alive even after 10 hours, even after 20 hours. 140 degrees centigrade is not enough to sterilize. Hey, and you know that, because do you know the temperature that you apply in dry heat? Dry heat needs 160 or 180. Then we can talk about temperature. But sorry, 140 is much too cold. It does not sterilize. But still we get sterility in this machine. What is the difference to dry heat? I'll show you, because you can read it very easily in the standard. There is a table in the standard for chemical indicators, and this table says, if you want to make an indicator for different types of sterilization, here we have 2 examples, then these are the requirements that have to be fulfilled before the indicator is allowed to change its color. And when you say, okay, I want to produce an indicator for dry heat, the standard will tell you, you can do that. It must not change color if there is not enough temperature, not enough time. Agree. And now I want to make an indicator for steam sterilization. And then the standard says, okay, Your indicator is only allowed to change color when there is temperature and time and liquid water. Hey guys, you can sterilize with 134 degrees centigrade, but only if the surface of your instrument is wet during the holding time. Every dry surface in your load, it might have a wonderful temperature, but if it's dry, it will not become sterile. Okay, and since you want to pack dry instruments in your sets, what is the only source of humidity? It is the steam which condensates and creates condensation drops. And this is why steam has to go everywhere. So the sterilizing agent in your process is liquid water. Your goods have to become wet everywhere where you want to have sterility. Have a look on your instrument and think about positions where you might have doubts if they become wet, yes or no. This is validation. And this shows you that temperature and time. Oh, do I have 3 minutes or 4 minutes? It's so boring. It's completely boring. The times that we have in 134 degrees centigrade, those 5-minute programs, much longer than necessary. We are full of security on this page. But the question is, does every surface become wet? Because when you have a surface which is not wet, even a 30-minute program would not sterilize. And this is what we have to monitor. So when we have the holding time, we have a situation where the amount of evaporation and condensation is in a balance. So a little bit will condensate, a little bit will evaporate, and in general it is in a balanced situation. And this is what your instruments look like. They are completely wet. And all these drops here are condensate drops because the steam has touched the instrument and it condensated and now it's wet. Wonderful. This is what we need. But is it wet underneath this gasket? Is it wet inside of this valve? Ooh. This is what we have to know. And this is what steam penetration is about. I have to know if the steam can penetrate to these positions, or here, inside here, the thread. Does the steam penetrate? Or is it remaining dry inside? And now you suddenly see, oh, I need steam penetration, because if the steam cannot enter to these positions, they will remain dry. And this is why we need our testing to ensure that steam penetration has been successful. Once again, temperature time, we have more than enough of that. And I do not discuss about, oh, I have 4 minutes and you say it's 5, and forget it. We can talk about temperature time when you apply 121 degrees centigrade. This is close, because 15 minutes and sometimes you're not too far away. But the 134 degrees centigrade temperature time, I don't care. I don't even discuss these things. When people come, oh, I had this and it was 30 seconds too short and the indicator was already changed color, and I don't discuss this. For me, interesting would be if an indicator does not change color because it did not become wet. And now you understand what it's all about. In the absence of liquid water, the temperature and the steam sterilizer would simply be too cold. And this is what we need steam penetration for. And here you see the F0 value. We talked about it in the beginning, so we nicely come back to this. The F0 value, according to the standard for process validation, is at least 15 minutes, which means 121, 15 minutes. This is the F0 value that is required. Then you remember from the first slides, the Z value in steam is 10 degrees centigrade. So when you make it 10 degrees hotter, then you get the same result in a tenth of the time. So 131, 1.5 minutes is just as good as this. And if you go to 134, even 0.75 minutes, which are 45 seconds, would be enough for sterilization. We are talking about programs where we discuss about 4, 5, 6 minutes, and 45 seconds would be already enough. So forget about temperature time, this is really boring. But does every position become wet? This is not boring, but this is a challenge. And this is the challenge that has to be monitored, and this is why we have developed a method to monitor that. And this is the method that we use in order to give you information in everyday life. And this information is done by means of process challenge devices. So, and let me end this presentation with this little quote that we can take from the general standard for validation. Wrong file. Second try. So, here we go. Last two slides. And let's read together these two quotes from the standard 14937, which is the general, the mother standard of validation. And there you see what it's all about. Any indicator, let's translate it. No matter if it's a biological or chemical one, any indicator is to be placed at positions where sterilizing conditions are most difficult or in a PCD. Not just in a package or in the chamber or where, but at the most difficult position or in a PCD. And now the second quote, PCDs shall present a challenge greater than that at the position where sterilizing is the most difficult. And this is why we have so many different PCDs. And this is why monitoring of steam sterilization processes is not about using indicators for monitoring of temperature time, but it's for monitoring steam penetration at difficult positions, and these positions are within these test devices. So, please take this home with you. Now this would be the final slide that we use. That indicators are not to be misused as a clock. It is not for measurement of time, but an indicator is a measurement of the presence, yes or no, the presence of steam and of condensate at the point of testing. And this is why we have to provide a point of testing which is most difficult for the steam to enter. And this is steam penetration monitoring. This is not temperature time monitoring, because this will be provided by the sterilizer alone. The sterilizer is very precise with temperature time. Please read your printout of the sterilizer. And please use an indicator and a suitable position of the indicator to learn about steam penetration. Okay, Charlotte, you're happy with the time when we find out now, when we quit now? Okay, so I stuck to this homework to keep it to 4 o'clock. And I want to say thank you to all of you. I want to say thank you to the whole team that has organized this beautiful event. And Charlotte, last words to you.
First of all, I would love to thank Aiims and the whole team of Aiims and CSST and Dr. Jana for giving such a lovely platform to have an interaction with you guys. Second thing is, there were lots of questions. अपनी देसी भाषा में ही बात करता हूँ. CSST, आप लोग को questions था. कुछ question पूछना है तो बोल दीजिए. हुआ तो मैं ही आंसर कर पाऊँगा. क्या questions है? अगर आप क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे उसी हिसाब से मैं अपना टॉपिक शुरू करूंगा. अगर नहीं पूछते तो आप घर भी नहीं जा सकते, मैं यहाँ ही बैठने वाला हूँ. तो आप डिसाइड कीजिए. मुझे पीछे किसी ने पूछा, सर मेरा ऑडिटर्स आए हैं, कोई मल्टीनेशनल कंपनी का स्पॉन्सर करके है, वो बोलता है कि मुझे एक लोड में बायोलॉजिकल डालना है, हाँ? तो ये आपको सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा कि कटिंग होगा, काहो बाहो लाहो होगा. तो क्या करें? आपको क्या लगता है, बायोलॉजिकल सब लोड में डालना है? ऑडिटर्स आते हैं ना आपको, ऑर्थोपेडिक वाले इम्प्लांट में डालना, बोलते कि नहीं बोलते? कि दूसरे सब शेड्यूल कास्ट है, ऑप्थेल्मिक वाले, डेंटल वाले. आपके कुकर में पता चलता है ये आलू ऑर्थोपेडिक है, ये आलू, हाँ, और डेंटल वाले बेचारे ऑर्थोपेडिक वाले को बायोलॉजिकल, दूसरे सबको बायोलॉजिकल नहीं होता है. एक ही स्टरलाइजेशन होता है अंदर. प्लीज. एंड आपको रिजल्ट कब आता है? माइक्रोबायोलॉजिस्ट कब देते हैं रिजल्ट? CSST
24
48-72 आवर्स. इम्प्लांट कहाँ गया पेशेंट का? और रिजल्ट आया, ग्रोथ, क्या करोगे?
कुछ आता नहीं है.
यही नहीं, गाइडलाइंस फॉलो करना पड़ता है. बाहर में जाए गाइडलाइंस, मेरे मुझे एक पेशेंट को ध्यान रखना है कि नहीं. प्लीज वेक अप. तो it is only used for validation once a week or once. आपका पॉकेट कितना हैवी है उस हिसाब से you decide. Set up that as a protocol. Even OD का validations करते कि नहीं करते? कब करते हैं? किस हिसाब से डिसइंफेक्टेंट यूज करते हैं आप? वो मेडिवेशन ने स्पॉन्सर किया, उसको 3 साल 4 साल घर में भी आप करते कि नहीं करते? फ्लिट यूज करते हैं, डेगन रोज यूज करो, क्या हालत होगी? तो समर में अलग, विंटर में अलग करते कि नहीं करते? और उस हिसाब से रेजिस्टेंस प्लान करते हैं. केक की कंपनी का हजारों साल यूज करोगे, सेम पोटेंसी यूज करें, रेजिस्टेंस डेवलप करोगे कि नहीं? सो प्लीज गो बैक. इट्स अ मैसेज व्हेनेवर यू डू अ वैलिडेशन also. आप स्वैब्स उठाते कि नहीं उठाते? स्वैब्स लेते हैं स्टरलाइजेशन ओटी में एंड वो सब.
मंथली वंस लेते हैं.
माइक्रोबायोलॉजिस्ट रिजल्ट क्या देता है? चोर और पुलिस दोनों
नो
कर दिया.
नो
माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म और
ऑल डाई.
केमिकल को साथ में उठाया. किल कहाँ हो रहा है? ओटी में हो रहा है या स्वैब में हो रहा है? रिजल्ट क्या हुआ? नो ग्रोथ. पेशेंट कमाल मर गया. राइट. हाई टाइम लर्न कौन सा केमिकल यूज कर रहे हैं, क्या न्यूट्रलाइजिंग करने वाले हैं. सो दे हैव टू न्यूट्रलाइज इट. बाद में ग्रोथ मीडिया. सो विच केमिकल क्या गेम खेलना है. आप और इस समय हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड यूज करते हैं फ्यूमिगेशन के लिए. फ्यूमिगेशन गुड और बैड? बस गोरे वाले आए बोलकर चले गए. हाँ, प्लीज वेक अप मैन. आपका ओटी कौन सा है? हेपा वाला है या एसी वाला है? सबका हेपा है. ओके. तो आप लोग हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड यूज करते कि नहीं करते? बिकॉज मैं इस हिसाब से बात करता हूँ कि बोलता है दोपहर का टाइम है, मध्य प्रदेश फुल है, उत्तर प्रदेश खाली हो जाता है. तो इसको जगाने के लिए मुझे भेजा गया है कि प्लीज जगाओ सबको. आप लोग हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड यूज करते नहीं करते? नो हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड। व्हाई? ओटी के लिए हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड विद सिल्वर नाइट्रेट नहीं यूज करते
हैं सर,
करते हैं ना?
पॉप्लक्स सॉल्यूशन।
तो करने के टाइम आपका आज उड़ीसा में गर्मी है नहीं है? ह्यूमिडिटी है कि नहीं है?
सर लाइट लगाने के
हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड काम करेगा। बिफोर यूजिंग एनी केमिकल आपको ह्यूमिडिटी क्या चाहिए? ओटी में मेंटेन करते हैं। यू नीड अ रिलेटिव ह्यूमिडिटी बिलो 30। वो तो करते नहीं, हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड को डालते हैं। मेडसिन साहब ने क्या बोला? ह्यूमिडिटी होना कि नहीं किल के लिए, ग्रोथ के लिए? वेटपैक्स अच्छा है बुरा है? अच्छा है। ओह गॉड ब्लेस यू। बुरा है राइट? So you have to reduce the relative humidity, बाद में अंदर हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड तो ही काम करेगा, किल होगा। So someone has to understand infection control। आपको ये सब देखना पड़ेगा। बाद में प्लाज्मा स्टरलाइजेशन वो सब टेक्निकल बात करो। बेसिक तो जान लो बायोलॉजिकल को कैसा खत्म करना है, कैसा किल करना है आपको, राइट? तो मैंने तो अभी थोड़ा कुछ आधा ही नॉलेज देकर मैं कंफ्यूज करके भागने वाला हूँ। If anybody wants information, please get back. I'll go deep into the subject. Even Mr. Metzing will know how to go deep into that. So you will be able to solve your problems, right? आपका formalin अच्छा है बुरा है? फॉर्मलिन यूज करते नहीं करते?
करते हैं।
क्यों?
स्पेसिमेन
क्यों नहीं यूज करते?
स्टेरिलाइजेशन के लिए यूज नहीं करते।
कॉस्ट्यूजेनिक कौन गोरे वाला आकर बोला? कैन यू इनहेल फॉर्मलिन? फॉर्मलिन इनहेल कर सकते क्या?
नो
क्या होता है करते तो? आंख में से आंसू आएगा, जलेगा, आप भागोगे। सो इज इट टॉक्सिक नॉन टॉक्सिक? नॉन टॉक्सिक। सूंघा ही नहीं है माँ, सूंघोगे तो मरोगे ना। एथिलीन ऑक्साइड सूंघ सकते क्या?
नहीं।
यूज करते हैं?
यस।
क्यों गोरे ने आकर बोल बेचा? सही है कि नहीं? Please, I'm putting a question mark, माँ। फॉर्मलिन सूंघ ही नहीं सकते, इफेक्ट ही नहीं होता है, राइट? एथिलीन ऑक्साइड सूंघते हैं, इनहेल भी करते हैं, कुछ यूज करते हैं। बेचारा जो भगवान ने अच्छा सेंसर दिया है यार, कि ये बुरा है, सूंघो मत, आप भाग गए, तो यू आर सेफ और नो? So high time to think about it, then blindly following the protocols. Please validate the procedure. आप सब लोग स्नान किया कि नहीं किया?
किया है।
ये उड़ीसा में भुवनेश्वर में कैसे स्नान करते हैं? पानी से। वो ब्यूटीफुल, हम भी पानी से करते हैं। हाँ? आप कैसे करते? पहले पानी डालते हैं, उसके बाद साबुन। अब कैसे साबुन सेलेक्ट करते हैं? हीरो हीरोइन देखते हैं, 1+1 फ्री देखते हैं, क्या करते हैं? कौन सा साबुन यूज करते हैं? ऑर्गेनिक, हम इनऑर्गेनिक यूज करते हैं। प्लीज, अगर गाइडलाइंस बोल रहा है, दैट एज अ प्रोटोकॉल। हाँ, मैं एम्स वाला यूज कर रहा है, मैं भी यूज करूँ? नहीं माँ, उसका पानी अलग है। आप सब लोग हैंड हाइजीन करते हैं कि नहीं? 10 स्टेप 15 स्टेप करने कितना 100 स्टेप कितना उठाता है? ओके, 7 स्टेप करने के बाद कितने क्लीन है? कुछ गाइडलाइंस है? कुछ लॉग प्रोटेक्शन एश्योरेंस लेवल किया है कि नहीं किया है क्लीनिंग के लिए? उसके लिए भी सीएफयू काउंट्स होता है कि नहीं? ओके, ये सब नाटक करने के बाद कौन सा पानी? केक कटिंग होता है, हैंड हाइजीन दिया होता है, पेशेंट धमाल, राइट? अंडरस्टैंड पानी कौन सा है, which water to use, what protocol to have, right? I see even endoscopes, रिट्रोसिस करते नहीं करते? गंदा वाला आता है, पहले क्या करते हैं? स्नान करवाते हैं पानी से, उसके बाद एंजाइमेटिक डालते हैं, उसके बाद आरओ वाटर, ओके आरओ वाटर। उसके बाद डिसइंफेक्टेंट, उसके बाद आरओ में माइक्रोऑर्गेनिज्म होता है नहीं होता है? होता है, इसलिए पहले मारो, वापस डालो, पेशेंट को डालो। कौन सा पानी यूज करना है ग्लास में?
Sterile distilled water.
डिस्टिल्ड वाटर। आई सी पीपल, डॉक्टर्स यूजिंग सोडियम क्लोराइड। एनएस यूज करते कि नहीं करते?
Yes, yes.
आप भी आज घर जाकर कपड़े धोकर नमक के पानी में डालकर सुखा,
Crystal.
सुखाओगे?
No.
क्यों? अपना घर है, ये किसी और का घर है, मरने दे। Can you use NS? It leads to pitting, brittle. होता है कि नहीं? So please stop using NS. Now coming to biological, ध्यान रखो, मैं देखता हूँ रिजल्ट। हमारे जैसी कंपनी आती है 10 मिनट में बायोलॉजिकल, और एक कंपनी आती है 2 मिनट में रिजल्ट आता है, 4 मिनट में प्रोफाइल। हाँ या ना?
ना लिटरी
अभी वेट जमाना चेंज हो गया है, 4 मिनट में बच्चा पहुंच जाता है। होता है क्या? बट काहो बाहो लाहो वाला आते हैं बायोलॉजिकल के रिजल्ट 4 मिनट में। होता है क्या? माइक्रोऑर्गेनिज्म भी बेचारा प्यार करेगा, बट होने के बाद एटलीस्ट बच्चा पैदा करेगा, वो सब हाथ आएगा, पाँव आएगा, 72 आवर्स होना है कि नहीं, या 48 होना है कि नहीं? नहीं, हमारा टेक्निक अलग है। यहाँ बच्चा, will you believe? Please wake up, man. So you can use only for validation, not for routine monitoring, right? It's a chemical, and I think मैचिंग साहब ने आज सवेरे से आपको CFU काउंट्स और कैलकुलेशंस दिखाया है। मैं तो देसी भाषा में बात कर रहा हूँ, राइट? आप सब लोग डबल रैपिंग करते कि नहीं करते? क्यों करते माँ? हाँ? जोर से बोलो, खाना खाया है। डबल रैपिंग क्यों करते हैं? ओटी को डबल रैपिंग, ओपीडी को
डबल रैपिंग सर, सब डबल रैपिंग।
वो बेचारा शेड्यूल कास्ट है ओपीडी में। क्यों? यू डू डबल रैपिंग। मेरे जैसे माइक्रोऑर्गेनिज्म आधा केजी बैठा है उसके ऊपर, ओटी सिस्टर आता है, अंदर जाकर आधा केजी घुसा दिया। द आउटर रैप हैज टू बी रिमूव्ड आउटसाइड द ओटी, इसलिए डबल रैपिंग होता है। मैं क्या देखता हूँ, डबल रैपिंग करते हैं, सिस्टर यहाँ डालती है, बिन डालती है, यहाँ पास सामान जो स्टेराइल होता है और तो ट्रेन नहीं होता। आपने देखा ना? हम ये डॉक्यूमेंट भी करते हैं, NABH होता है, जैसे है पेशेंट जागो, right? Please, this is aseptic handling. I think डॉक्टर साहब ने सवेरे बैक्टीरियल बैरियर का तो पूरा बात किया, right? Please follow this protocol and set it up. हाँ बोलो। वही सर, ब्यूटीफुल। घर जाते हैं, आज खाना आज यहाँ का पसंद नहीं आया, राइट? घर जाकर बीवी को बोलना, ये आज मटन बना। नहीं, पहले मैं स्टोरी बोलता हूँ, आपने पूरी स्टोरी मेरी भी सुनो। मटन बनाना, राइट? बीवी को गुस्सा आया, 2 विजिल में मटन दे दिया। खाओगे 2 विजिल में? क्या होगा? पेट दमाल होता है कि नहीं? 6 विजिल रहते कि नहीं? जग मार कर बैठते हैं, 8 विजिल के लिए वेट करते हैं, 6 विजिल उसके बाद ही खाते हैं। तो NABH वाले ने भी 6th एडिशन ने यही बोला, 2 विजिल में खा ले। खाओगे सर? आपको 8 विजिल वेट करना पड़ेगा। माइक्रोऑर्गेनिज्म को ग्रोथ होने या किल होने के लिए, yes or no? So आपका मोटो is to follow the guidelines. This is only for safety, but our motto is to reduce the infections or kill. उसके लिए आपको 48 hours wait करना पड़ेगा, right? This
दो पॉलिसी चेंज करना पड़ेगा ना, एक एमबीबीएस के लिए, एक पूल के लिए।
सर मेरा भी घर चलना चाहिए ना, मेरे बच्चे का खर्चा निकालना, बीवी का खर्चा निकालना, तो मैंने एनएबीएच को पकड़कर गाइडलाइंस बना दिया सर। You got it right? It's a big mafia involved. You work, I think the whole seminar today is more on science. You work, go back. आप आपकी डिपार्टमेंट में जाकर एसओपी लिखने के पहले you please look into it. And no auditor can tell, ये guidelines में लिखा है तो करना पड़ेगा. No, they don't have rights, whether it's CAHO, BAHO, LAHO, NABH or JCI. They only tell you what documents you have made SOP, on what scientific terms are you following or not. They cannot tell you you are supposed to follow this. अगर कोई ऑडिटर आकर आपको बोलेगा, ए भाई ये करना है, उसको बोल मैंने एसओपी किया, इसका रिजल्ट है, माइक्रोबायोलॉजिस्ट ने भी रिपोर्ट किया है, एंड दिस इज माय आउटकम. You got it? I hope I answered your question. That implant load has to be driven with an indicator just for documentation. Validation is only with biologicals. And अगर biological use कर रहे हैं, you have to wait for 48 hours. You cannot change the protocol 20 minutes. Please, not possible. Okay. आप बोलते हैं, आप कौन-कौन रैपिड बीआई यूज कर रहे हैं? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. रैपिड बीआई उठाकर, बीएमडब्ल्यू में पास हुआ तो इम्प्लांट डाल सकते हैं क्या? बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट स्टरलाइजर में? Biomedical waste sterilizer works on gravity, right? Flash sterilization, good or bad? Bad, right?
Yes.
If you put a biological in a flash, pass होगा नहीं होगा? Pass हो जाएगा ना? Implant डालोगे flash में? क्या होगा? Patient? But biological pass में? Please wake up. So make इसको एक SOP बनाओ, उसको बोलो this is the reason I cannot use a biological. Got it? It's only for validation, not for routine. अगर use करना है, use a chemical, but 24 to 48 hours incubation compulsory required. Whether even you use rapid or you use any other instant biological, कुछ भी 24 hours यूज करना ही पड़ेगा. एंड आपका वो डब्बा है, वो इंक्यूबेटर है, रीडर है? बोलो भाई साहब, रैपिड वाले रीडर है, इंक्यूबेटर नहीं है मां, राइट? यू नीड इंक्यूबेशन. आप भी सबकी आंख खुलेगी सर. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू वाटर. ये सब करने के बाद which water do you use for ethylene oxide? ETO के लिए पानी चाहिए, स्टीम चाहिए नहीं चाहिए? एथिलीन ऑक्साइड में स्टीम चाहिए नहीं चाहिए? कौन सा पानी डालते हैं? डिस्टिल वाटर में, वो भी डिस्टिल वाटर आज डाला, 10 दिन के बाद वो डिस्टिल वाटर है या और कुछ है? 24 आवर्स के तक डिस्टिल होता है. तो आप भी घर में अपनी माता जी वो बनाती है ना, सवेरे पूजे को साफ करती नहीं करती? क्यों 10 दिन 15 दिन तक रखते क्या पानी? उसमें उपयोग क्या होगा? पेट की हालत खराब होती कि नहीं? एथिलीन ऑक्साइड इवन फॉर योर वेंटिलेटर्स, सबके लिए पानी में आपको रोज चेंज करना पड़ता है कि नहीं? नहीं तो बायोफिल्म फॉर्मेशन होता है. कौन सा पानी डालोगे? डिस्टिल वाटर. एंड आपको कैसे पता चलता है कौन सा पानी क्या है? कैन समवन टेल मी, आपका आरओ पानी कौन सा पीएच का है? पीएच क्या है? हाँ? 7. RO and distilled water is acidic मां, तो ही आपका पानी
5 to 7.
मिनरल्स। आप लोग हॉस्पिटल का RO पानी पीते हैं नहीं पीते हैं? भगवान भला करे। सब लोग बोलते हैं हम हॉस्पिटल का RO पिएंगे। आपको मिनरल्स चाहिए नहीं चाहिए? नहीं चाहिए। RO में मिनरल्स है नहीं है? अच्छा है बुरा है? अपने लिए बुरा है, लेकिन हॉस्पिटल के लिए अच्छा है फॉर योर डिसइंफेक्टेंट्स एंड थिंग। आप लोग सेडेक्स यूज करते नहीं करते?
कभी कभी करते हैं।
करते हैं? कितना दिन एक्सपायरी? किसने बोला? मेरे बाप ने, मेरे दादा ने, मैं कर रहा हूं। हाँ?
ठीक है, ठीक है।
25 days, 14 days, वही किसने बोला? मेरे बाप ने, मेरे दादा ने, मैं कर रहा हूं। आपने कभी खोलकर पिया है? प्लीज आज जाकर खोलो, पियो, अंदर डिस्टिल पानी है। जब एक्टिवेटर डालते हैं पीएच क्या होता है? 14 हो जाएगा। रोज पीएच गिरता जाएगा। 7 पीएच में माइक्रोबायल ऑर्गेनिज्म उत्पन्न करना शुरू हो जाएगा। उसके पहले आपको फेंकना है। सिंपल है, राइट? उसी हिसाब से आपका डिसइंफेक्शन प्रोसेस होता है। एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस? तो मुझे पता चलेगा क्या बात करूं। Risk assessment of create a problem to CS system, right? First thing is production date expiry date दिया है। अभी मजा देखो, भुवनेश्वर वाले की मजा देखो। प्रोडक्शन डेट एक्सपायरी डेट दिया है? स्टीम का?
Yes, sir.
ETO का?
Yes.
18 months। प्लाज्मा? आपका भुवनेश्वर में एजुकेटेड बैक्टीरिया है। वो आपके हॉस्पिटल में आता है, स्टीम देखता है, ETO, I'll come after 1 year, I'll come after 6 months। होता है क्या? होता है नहीं होता है? नहीं भाई साहब बोलिए, होता है नहीं होता है? तो आप करते क्यों हैं? एक ही माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म बेचारा कंफ्यूज हो जाता है। ये लाल वाला स्टीम है, पीला वाला होता है क्या? You'll get the same expiry man. अगर sterility assurance level समझ आए, so please first go validate the procedures as a surveillance. And कब करोगे? ये आप लोग दूध पीते नहीं पीते माँ? भुवनेश्वर में दूध पीते नहीं पीते? तो दूध को उबालते नहीं उबालते? ये नहीं उबालते हैं। अब भागते हैं जब उबलना शुरू हो जाता है। ये सुनो, उबलने नहीं देते। 100 डिग्रीज ऊपर स्टरलाइजेशन, 100 डिग्री नीचे पैस्चराइजेशन। तो दूध उबालते नहीं उबालते? नहीं उबालते। 99 डिग्रीज में करते ना माँ। अगर स्टरलाइजेशन करोगे तो दही बनेगा? आपके दूध से दही बनेगा? नहीं बनेगा, राइट? तो नहीं। एंड अगर आपने सवेरे बनाया, दूध उबाला, कब आपका दूध एक्सपायर होता है भुवनेश्वर में? 3 दिन। कौन सी गाय है? सवेरे बनाए कब? 4 बजे हो जाते कि नहीं? वापस उबालोगे तो दही बनता है शाम को, राइट? अगर नहीं उबाला रात को फट जाता है। गंदे माइक्रोऑर्गेनिज्म अच्छे को खा लेते हैं, लैक्टोबैसिलस उसको सबको खा लेते हैं। होता है कि नहीं? सेम वे यू विल हैव टू डू अ वैलिडेशंस ऑन जब ओके समर में कब आपका दूध कितना लंबा एक्सपायरी, समर में या विंटर? लंबा। तो आपको वैलिडेशन कब करना है? समर में, विंटर, हॉस्पिटल में? समर में। आपको धंधा कब होता है माँ? पेशेंट ज्यादा कब आते हैं? समर या विंटर? समर में, विंटर में सब चिल्ड्रन लोग आते हैं, कोल्ड, कॉफ, फीवर, चिकन पॉक्स, ये सब कब आता है? समर में आता है, राइट? तो आपका मेन इन्फेक्शंस, तो उसको वैलिडेशन समर में करो एंड पूरा साल एक ही मेंटेन करो एंड सेट दैट एज अ प्रोटोकॉल. एनी क्वेश्चंस? Okay. SUDs, single use device. First thing is, what is the cost of reprocessing? Can someone tell me एक autoclave या एक plasma या ETO? आपका घर में कर्चीफ यूज करते क्या नहीं? भुवनेश्वर में क्या रेट है माँ? 10-15 रुपया एक कर्चीफ. एक कर्चीफ 15 रुपया, राइट? ड्राइक्लीन कर्चीफ कितना है? एक ड्राइक्लीन कर्चीफ को भेजा, वो भी 15 रुपया ले रहा है. तो आप फेंकोगे या ड्राइक्लीन करवाओगे? रोज का रोज फेंकोगे, राइट? आप सोचते रीप्रोसेसिंग कॉस्ट पहले कराओ. इट वर्क्स ऑन STU. I don't want to go too deep, it's a deep subject. Please do some homework on STU, size per weight costing. So if you come to know the costing of each pack, आपका आधा आइटम reprocessing नहीं होता. मैं देखता हूँ ऑक्सीजन मास्क, नेबुलाइजेशन मास्क, कॉटरी पेंसिल्स रीयूज करते हैं. कॉटरी पेंसिल्स यूज करते हैं नहीं करते हैं? कॉस्ट क्या है माँ कॉटरी पेंसिल का? आपका कॉटरी पेंसिल कॉस्ट कितना है? हॉस्पिटल को कितना रेट में आता है? पेशेंट का नहीं बात कर रहा हूँ, हॉस्पिटल को 30 रुपया, 30 या 40 रुपया वो बेचता है 700 में, 40 रुपया में आता है. आपका CSSD का खर्चा कितना है एक कॉटरी क्लीन करने में, ऑटोक्लेव करने में? 50 से 60 रुपया. इसमें हॉस्पिटल को फायदा हुआ, नुकसान हुआ? वर्क ऑन कॉस्टिंग. Second come on functionality, on reprocessing, IQ, OQ, PQ, that protocol has to be done. Third comes on biomedical waste. आपका biomedical waste क्या खर्चा है? यहाँ उड़ीसा में पर केजी कितना है? Infection control. First subject you have to take is the costing of BMW. Go back, find out, you'll be shocked. 1 kg अगर 10 kg तक है तो खर्चा कम है. कितना 20 kg हुआ? डबल खर्चा. 30 और डबल. Are you aware? Go back and then set that as a part of your SUD. So when you are doing a project study on this, one time in your life, work out the analysis. 50% you remove. Second term, you look into the reprocessing. अपने CSSD भाई लोग SUD करते क्या नहीं करते हैं? अपना काम क्या है? स्टरलाइजेशन होता है कि नहीं होता है? ओके. आप लोग को बड़ा छेद में इंफेक्शन ज्यादा होता है या छोटे छेद कार्डियक कैथेटर में जल्दी इंफेक्शन होता है या वेंटिलेटर सर्क्यूट्स में? Which is more difficult to sterilize? वेंटिलेटर सर्क्यूट्स या कार्डियक कैथेटर्स? कितना बड़ा छेद, your infection rates are high. Why? Steam में. क्यों? Why? बड़ा छेद, हवा, दुश्मन अंदर ज्यादा. Difficult for penetration. This we call HPR. Okay? So whenever infection control is taking, they have to see the dia and the length into and calculate. On that basis, you come to know the infections that is taking place. And वो अपना CSD भाई बोलेगा, साहब मेरे पास तो कुकर कौन सा है? राइस का कुकर. तो इमीडिएटली आपको प्रोटोकॉल सेट करना है. मीट आया तो ये भाई उसको एक ही विजिल में उसका कुकर चल रहा है, राइट? अगर 3 विजिल का है, कैलकुलेट HPR. You have to do infection calculation. Then you set a protocol. मेरा हॉस्पिटल ये इतना किले इतना साल लगेगा, साल में एक बार करना. If anybody wants, please call. We'll do a project in your hospital. but I need 2 days. Time pass नहीं करना है, and because I'm spending time, money, energy. So you want to do something, we would love to host something like that, right? Any other questions? How to? Oh, lovely. I confused half and left. Okay. Up biological है. You know sporulation? I think Mr. Metzing told you sporulation, germination. आपको पता है ना? आप खाना खाते क्या होता है? अभी खाना खाया दोपहर का? पेट में क्या हुआ? एसिडिटी हुआ, pH चेंज हुआ. जो स्पोर था, जर्म बन गया, वापस खाना खत्म हुआ, वापस sporulation. So I want the spore to convert to germ. Germ, when it's converted, multiplication starts. Put it up gallipods. Now take some 10-15 gallipods. Put it on that. Pack it with the best wrapping. उसमें wrap कर दो. आपका सबसे बुरा एरिया कौन सा है? Maximum infection, OPD. Keep it there. 1, 2, 3, 4. पहला वाला माइक्रोबायोलॉजिस्ट को बोलना, he or she will send you 48 hours no growth. दूसरा भेजो. अब 10वें बाउल में growth आया. 10 into how many days? She's taken 3 days, or he is taken 3 days. कितना दिन हुआ? 30 दिन. तो 30 दिन एक्सपायरी नहीं देते. Divide by 2. Safety margin becomes 15 days. So जब आपका सबसे गंदा एरिया 15 दिन दे रहा है, तो आपका OT और CSS जो उससे अच्छा है क्या गंदा है? Set that as a protocol. And you please do it even for EDO plasma. बाजू में रख कर रखो, 1-2 दिन का ही फर्क आएगा. You will get the same expiry. Okay? आप लोग अलग अलग प्रेशर मेंटेन करते नहीं करते हैं? ओटी में क्या प्रेशर मेंटेन करते हैं? ओटी का प्रेशर क्या है?
पॉजिटिव प्रेशर.
आप भुवनेश्वर में एक प्रेशर है एंड अलग आपका कौन सा दूसरा राउरकेला, वहां पर एक प्रेशर. चेन्नई में तो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स अलग अलग प्रेशर में रहता है क्या नहीं? राइट? तो आप ओटी का प्रेशर खुद पॉजिटिव रखते हैं नेगेटिव रखते हैं?
पॉजिटिव रखते हैं.
और पहले तो आपको ध्यान में रखना है भुवनेश्वर का प्रेशर क्या है. इन्फेक्शन कंट्रोल. विदाउट दिस यू बीइंग इन्फेक्शन कंट्रोल इज अ वेस्ट. भुवनेश्वर का प्रेशर कितना है? एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर 1. मिस्टर मेत्सिंग ने सवेरे बोला. तो आपका ओटी प्रेशर 1 बार से ऊपर होना है, नीचे होना है? ऊपर होना है. राइट? ओटी कॉरिडोर का प्रेशर कितना होना है? आउटसाइड प्रेशर से कम. तो उसी हिसाब से माइक्रोब्स ट्रैवल होता है कि नहीं? तो आपको क्रॉस इन्फेक्शन. सो फर्स्ट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड प्रेशर, टेम्परेचर एंड ह्यूमिडिटी. अगर ये 3 मेंटेन नहीं करोगे, एचयू डालकर फायदा नहीं है. राइट? ऑन दैट बेसिस यू मेंटेन. ईटीयू में कौन सा प्रेशर डालोगे? पॉजिटिव प्रेशर, नेगेटिव प्रेशर? ETO room में, especially pregnant women, girls, ladies who are working in CSSD, negative रखते हैं, positive रखते हैं? Negative. आपका स्टरलाइजर ETO कब पंचर होता है? नेगेटिव में या पॉजिटिव में? नेगेटिव में. तो आपका ETO लीक कब होता है? नेगेटिव में. अगर बाहर का प्रेशर पॉजिटिव रहेगा तो ETO बाहर नहीं आएगा. You got it? So it should be a positive and ETO negative. On that basis, you maintain the flow of pressure. Right? Any other questions? Yes? Oh, beautiful. I would appreciate microbiologist also to be a part. Same खानदान का, right? Geobacillus stereothermophilus for steam and Geobacillus stereothermophilus for hydrogen. एक ही है, अलग अलग है? अलग है. Now, sorry, I'll use both of them. रमेश भाई है, युवराज भाई है. Okay, युवराज भाई है बैंगलोर के, रमेश भाई है भुवनेश्वर के, right? दोनों को मारना है, राइट? तो मैं दोनों को एक ही खानदान स्टीरियोथर्मोफाइलस, दोनों स्टीरियोथर्मोफाइलस, दोनों को उठाया, ऑटोक्लेव में डाला, तो कौन पहले मरेगा? रमेश भाई या युवराज भाई? भुवनेश्वर वाला भाई या बैंगलोर वाला भाई? हाँ? क्यों हम लोग बैंगलोर वाले खराब है क्या? हाँ? बैंगलोर वाला मरेगा क्यों पहले? हाँ? He is resistance to cold. रमेश भाई is resistance to heat. इसलिए रमेश भाई को उठाया मैंने, स्टीम स्टरलाइजर में डाला, मीन्स स्टीरियोथर्मोफाइलस स्टीम। ए भाई को उठाकर हाइड्रोजन, सो he's got resistance of हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड। अगर ये दोनों को उठाकर हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड में डाला, कौन पहले मरेगा? रमेश भाई, भुवनेश्वर वाला भाई या बैंगलोर वाला? भुवनेश्वर वाला मरेगा, बैंगलोर वाला। सो नाउ डिफरेंस पता चल गया इसका, राइट? सेम स्टीरियोथर्मोफाइलस, अगर भूल से स्टीम में डालोगे आपको नो ग्रोथ आएगा, लेकिन प्रोसेस कंप्लीट नहीं है, राइट? आई होप आई आंसर। नेक्स्ट, एनी अदर? बहुत हो गया आज के लिए या कंटिन्यू करें? ड्राई हीट स्टरलाइजेशन, एट्रोफियस या स्टीरियोथर्मोफाइलस? स्टीरियोथर्मोफाइलस होता है, लेकिन उसमें कैन आई यूज बायोलॉजिकल इंडिकेटर सेल्फ कंटेन? नो, बिकॉज ड्राई हीट 160 डिग्रीज 2 आवर्स, 180 डिग्रीज हाफ एन आवर। तो अगर भूल से मैंने ए एल्कोहल उसमें डाला, पानी उबलकर बाहर निकल जाएगा, रिजल्ट क्या दिखाएगा? नो ग्रोथ। सो यूज ओनली स्ट्रिप्स, microbiologists use only stereothermophilus aseptic handle, put into growth media inside the lab. So use only stereothermophilus. Or any other? Any other questions? Validate 5000 whether excellent. Are you aware what happens? ये आपका पैक ऑटोक्लेव में क्या होता है ना, आराम से सोता रहता है, मस्ती करता है या हिलता है? आपके ऑटोक्लेव में आपका पैक आराम से सोया रहता है या हिलता रहता है? हिलता रहता है या नहीं रहता है? तो जब नेगेटिव प्रेशर डालते हैं तो क्या होता है? पैक बड़ा होता है। जब स्टीम डालते हैं पैक छोटा होता है। मैं एक हॉस्पिटल में देखता हूँ, मोटा आदमी को छोटे आदमी के ऊपर बिठा डाला है, वो वहाँ थोड़ा जगह है, यहाँ जगह है, वो स्टेराइल है, अनस्टेराइल? अनस्टेराइल होता है। बेचारा मोटा आदमी छोटे के फुसफुस ही नहीं होगा, राइट? वो फुसफुस होना चाहिए कि नहीं? बड़ा छोटा होना चाहिए, राइट? तो when in the container, when you go on a negative pressure, the valves open up. So if you want to know whether valves are functioning or not, put some thermal glue only for one-time validation. Which one? अपना रॉबिन ग्लू आता है ना, रॉबिन ग्लू उठाकर डाल दो। अगर valve वापस बंद हो गया and रॉबिन ग्लू अंदर गया, that shows that हवा भी अंदर घुस रहा है. You have to change the valves. This is the best way for you to validate, right? No, counting is depending upon, it's difficult. For validation, whether the functionality is that or not. Right? Any other questions? So we are done for the day. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the patience. आप लोगों के साथ, and I love Bhubaneswar. 30 साल से यहाँ आ रहा हूँ, and I love you guys. I love you all for all the kind support. Only request for you is support good products, good companies, and do ethical in life, and let's give back something good back to the society in a good way. Thank you, love you guys, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Shailesh Mehta sir, for your engaging session. Now we have come to the end of today's program. Before we conclude, I would request all to proceed to the first floor for snacks and tea, and you can collect your certificates from the registration counter. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Sorry, wala. Hindi kayo po. Dapat pa nila.